Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm sorry that I'm starting this video like kind of late, so the lighting is a little weird, but you can see me and we're gonna make this work. Okay, we're gonna make this work. Let me clean my glasses really quick. I already tried to film this twice. The first time I just didn't like the way it looked, so I wanted to refilm it. Second time was literally like maybe an hour ago, and my battery ended up dying, so here's number 3, and hopefully we're good to go for this time. Yeah, let's just get into it. First things first, I definitely want to say I apologize for being MIA for like an entire week. I got sick and life happens, and that happened. I was really upset. I'm actually still pretty upset because now I gotta kind of get back into the groove of things. I was consecutively posting for 3 weeks, and I know to some that's probably like whatever, but like to me that's something. That's 9 videos I posted, you know what I mean? Like, it matters to me. So I'm pretty upset that I missed a week, but you know what, that's fine. I had to put myself first, and I never do that. I never really put myself first. It's always my kids and my kids' dad. Like, I'm always putting everybody else first. So last week I had to put myself, well, not really first because I was still obviously taking care of my kids and stuff, but you know, I had to put a lot of the stuff on pause. So I did fall a little bit behind with my schoolwork. I just caught up yesterday, and then obviously I fell behind with my YouTube. So I want to get back into the groove of things, but I want to tell you guys kind of like what happened and why I kind of like disappeared like out of nowhere. So first things first, where should I start? Let's start with about 2 weeks ago on Wednesday. Let me see, what date was it? I want to get the right date because it wasn't even like 2 weeks yet. On the 25th, maybe? Yeah, okay. So on the 25th of September is when all this mumbo jumbo started happening. I woke up and I thought my tailbone was just sore. I'm like, wow, my tailbone really hurts today. Didn't think anything of it. Next day comes, again, my tailbone really hurts. Again, ignored it, whatever. Next day comes, I'm like, wow, this is like getting like really bad. I don't know why it's not going away. I start Googling about a tailbone, and I saw a lot of stuff about if you sit too long for like a lot, like you sit a lot, what else, if you fall you can hurt your tailbone, stuff like that could cause tailbone pain. And I'm like, well, I haven't fallen, I mean, I have sat a lot, so maybe that's what it is. So I'm telling myself, dang, I gotta start walking more, you know, walking everywhere basically. On that 3rd day that I was like starting to Google and stuff like that. So yeah, I started Googling, and I'm thinking, okay, it's because of maybe me sitting for too long. Saturday comes along. I had to put it in here. Wednesday, Jose did not work. Thursday, Jose was supposed to work, but he didn't work because he woke up with a really sore throat and he was coughing up blood. So he called out of work on Thursday. Friday, he worked, and obviously I stayed home with the kids. And then on Saturday, he doesn't normally work Saturdays, but he did go in because he needed like the extra hours and stuff because he did miss a whole day. So he went in to work or whatever. And on that Saturday morning, I woke up also really early, and I was in so much pain, you guys. Like, I was tears, like there was tears coming out of my eyes. I was just not having it. Like, it was just terrible. I was like, I need to go to the hospital. I don't know what I'm gonna do. Like, I don't know what to do. Like, maybe I can ask my mom, or maybe he was gonna ask his dad. He was just gonna end up not going to work, stuff like that. And I was like, you know what, no, hold up, I'm gonna go take a hot shower, I'm gonna take Tylenol, and if this keeps going, then I will go see a doctor. So that's it. He went to work, and the pain kept going. The hot shower helped a little bit. When I got out of the shower, I was like, you know what, let me look at around my tailbone area. Maybe there's a bruise, maybe there's something there that can tell me where this pain is coming from. Like, it can't just be pain, you know what I mean? So I get out the shower and I look in the mirror, and I look at myself like by my tailbone area, and I see there's like this little red dot not that, a bump. It was pretty small. So I've got stretch marks pretty much everywhere. I've got them, you know, on my butt area, I've got them on my thighs, I've got them on my breast, I've got them everywhere. So this bump was on one of my stretch marks. Typically whenever I get like any kind of bump or any kind of like scratch or anything that's like, how do I describe it, like any kind of bump basically that I get, whether it be a mosquito bite or anything, it always ends up on one of my stretch marks. I don't know why it is that happens, but they do. So it looks like a lot worse than it really is. It kind of like swells up the whole stretch mark or whatever. So this bump was on one of my stretch marks on my downstairs area, my back behind. And so yeah, I was like, okay, well this is really weird. So I took a picture of it and I sent it to Jose, and I was like, I've got a red bump like near my tailbone, and I was like, I don't think it's anything though, I think it's gonna go away, it's just weird, you know what I mean? And I told him, and it's weird because like that area really hurts. And so I start googling the bump, and I'm like, okay, bump near the tailbone area, da 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 da. And so this thing came up called boils. I'm sure a lot of you have heard of it, and if you haven't, because I've never heard of it up until just now when I got it. A boil is basically a pimple, right? It starts off as a red bump, and then it becomes you know, obviously like a regular pimple, you like that comes with a blackhead or whatever. It'll get to a tip, and then it'll be able to drain. And that's what my bump needed to do, except mine wasn't, it's not a boil. But anyways, so, and by the way, before anybody starts saying anything, this isn't due to hygiene issues, because I do shower and all of that, I take care of myself. This can happen to anybody, doesn't matter how clean you are, doesn't matter, nothing. It just happens to people for no freaking reason, apparently. It could be an ingrown hair, it could be an open sweat gland, like it could be anything basically. So so yeah, I just wanted to put that out there really quick. So yeah, I started googling it, and that's what it was, well, what I had thought it was. And at this point, you guys, I can't sit, I can't sleep very well, like I can't lay down, I can barely walk. It was just rough. I can't bend down, I can't do nothing. My house got really gross during this period because I can't clean. Like obviously I can't bend down, I can't do everything that I normally could because I was in so much pain. Like the week is going by and it's progressively getting worse. I'm reading online that hot compresses, like a wet warm towel, like, you know, you put it on the area for like 20 minutes at a time, about 3 times a day, and it'll eventually get to its tip, or like, you know, the part that needs to, that, you know what I mean, like the part that's gonna end up opening and then becoming what it needs to be so it can drain. So at this point, you guys, my bump is still red, it doesn't have a tip or anything, and it's in terrible pain, and I'm starting to get sick, and on top of that I get my monthly friend. So it was rough. Let me just say, like, I felt like I was gonna die. I was like, nope, ain't no way. I got whatever Jose had, I had got it, and I was getting fevers, I was getting chills. It was just not fun. The Tylenol was barely working. I started drinking a leaf was barely working. I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't know what I'm gonna do. So eventually it does end up going to the tip or whatever. It ends up becoming like the yellow tip, and it was basically ready to, you know, eventually start draining. So I just keep on with the warm compresses, and I see that the yellow, but the area was starting to get really red, really firm, really warm to the touch. It was just very irritated. So but I'm not thinking anything of it. I'm just like, okay, I read online that you have to wait like 1 or 2 weeks to even go to a doctor, because you have to have certain symptoms to go to a doctor, whatever, right? So I'm like, okay, if I can take care of this at home, I'm gonna take care of it at home. So I look at the every day. I'm taking pictures of this thing, so you guys know. So I'm paying attention to it every day, looking at it and everything. So every time I would take pictures, you know, I would see how it progresses, and I would see that it was starting to get like deflated in a way. like, think of like a little bubble. It was starting to get deflated. So I'm like, okay, it's draining, like it's finally draining. But it was hurting so bad. Like, it was to the point when it started like draining that it felt like an open cut and someone was pouring a whole bunch of alcohol on it. Like, that's the best way I can really describe it. And then for the feeling of like the pain that I was feeling, just imagine, like, you know those pimples that you guys get that it's not ready yet, but it hurts so much when you touch it and you gotta wait for it to be ready in order for you to pop it. That's kind of like the situation that I had, except mine was a lot bigger. So you can imagine my pain, and especially in the area that it was in, even worse. It started feeling really bad, like especially with when it started draining and stuff. So on Thursday that just passed, no, on Wednesday morning, I wake up, the one that just passed, the second, and I'm like, you know what, I had enough. I need to see a doctor. I can't keep dealing with this. Like, it's just not for me. I need to figure this thing out. I need a doctor to tell me what's wrong. I think it's infected. Like, I don't know what's wrong. So I call the doctor's office and I'm like, listen, I need to make an appointment. I think I have a boil, and I think it's infected, so I need to get it checked out. So I ended up scheduling an appointment for the next day. My son had an appointment, so that worked out. So we could just kill 2 birds with 1 stone. I go to the emergency room on Wednesday night, and yeah, I had to wait in the waiting room for 2 hours, and I was just in so much pain, you guys. I couldn't sit, so I was standing there for 2 hours, just not. I was in the worst pain. It was just hurting so bad. I started crying, like, it was just bad. So they call me in, and then I get into a room finally, and I'm like, okay, well, let's see how long it takes before a doctor comes, because, you know, it took them so long to call me in. Not long after, a doctor comes in, nurse comes in, he tells me, lay on your stomach, and I lay on my stomach, and not even 2 seconds later, he's already poking the area, and I'm like, bro, like, wow, that hurts. So they couldn't numb the area because of the fact that the tissue that's actually, like, the way that they described it, they said that the tissue where the pain is actually coming from is so deep in that they wouldn't be able to reach it to solve, like, to numb it. That they could numb the areas around it, but it wouldn't help, basically. So they could not numb the area. They didn't give me no painkillers, anything. So they just went, they made a little incision, and they did their business to drain it. And I was in so much pain, you guys. Like, I was screaming. I was like, ah, like, this hurts. And I'm like, believe it or not, I had 2 kids, but at least with my kids I could have epidural and call it a day. I could not have epidural with that. Like, it was just bad. So similar to a boil, you could get a penodidal, I don't know how to say the word, I'll put it right here, but it's a penodidal something cyst, and that is directly, like, right by your tailbone area, and that is what I had, and mine was infected. So it was really bad. So they prescribed me antibiotics, and they prescribed me some painkillers, and then they told me, oh, and they put a gauze packing in the area, so that way it could keep draining all of the nasty stuff that was in it. Like, a regular pimple has this stuff inside of it, this also had its stuff inside of it. So so yeah, so that happened, and then I went to my doctor on Thursday, I mean, and obviously, like, I started feeling way better. I was like, oh my god, thank you, Jesus. Like, right now, you guys, I don't feel any pain, thank the Lord. Only when I take a shower, but that's because I don't have the dressing on it, so the water hits the wound, and obviously it burns just a little bit, but other than that, I feel amazing, you guys. Like, a lot better compared to what I did feel. So that's a freaking plus right there. But yeah, like, the next day I went to the doctor, and she said that it was definitely infected, so she wanted me to keep the packing in until tomorrow, which is Tuesday, when I have another appointment, and they're gonna take it out, and they're just gonna, like, make sure I'm healing properly. Well, not really healing, because, yeah, something like that. Making sure that the infection is going away, basically. This thing can take anywhere, like, up to 2 months to heal, which I hope it doesn't. But yeah, it's just been a pain in the butt, literally a pain in the butt. That's really all that happened with my health, more or less. I'm sorry again that I didn't post for that entire week. And also, if it seems like this is like too TMI, I'm trying to make it like as least TMI as possible. But there, I mean, who knows, you might get one of these one day and you may not know what the heck is going on. And hello, like, you know, someone who has similar symptoms, maybe you could, like, you know, hear like kind of my story and see like, okay, well, that's what I've got to do, or whatever the case may be. Yeah, there's not really much else to say. I'm trying to think if I can say anything else, but really there's nothing else. That was just really it. Right now I am still healing, taking antibiotics. I've got to take them for 10 days, twice a day. So I'm just hoping that this infection will get out of my system, and then it's gonna be a healing game from here. And I'm gonna keep you guys updated, because obviously, like, come on, I mean, I've been posting on Instagram and stuff, like a little bit about it, but not really too many details. So this is a little bit more thorough about like what was kind of going on. But yeah, you guys, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.
Watching it end again and again. I feel it in waves, you follow me, drifting to places I should leave, so close to the edge of something so perfect.